All this week, America is pausing to remember the unforgettable, the assassination of its 35th president, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, on November 22, 1963. His death in Dallas 50 years ago left behind curiosity, some of it morbid, as to what might have been. But many Americans, including people in the tri-state who remember his visits here, may be tempted to also recall this week what was.
Ignition. Liftoff.
1963, a time when some say the nation was alive, soaring into space and infatuated with a young new president. As former astronaut and former Senator John Glenn says, it was vibrant.
He was trying to call the best out of people, not just what your country does for you, but what you can do for your country and things like that. And the Peace Corps, and there was sort of a vibrancy and aliveness.
In Cincinnati, we were abuzz about the opening of I-75 and the Brent Spence Bridge, while Dallas was preparing for the arrival of the President and First Lady. At the time, none of us knew what those hours in Dallas would bring, how history was about to change. November 22nd, 1963, and its aftermath stunned the nation.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Former Congressman Tom Lucan knew Kennedy from his work on the presidential campaign in Hamilton County and was a U.S. attorney in the Kennedy Justice Department.
The Kennedys just had that attraction all the way through any time that I've ever been.
That attractiveness was on display several times in Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. Right here on Government Square during the 1960 presidential campaign, Kennedy took a gaffe and turned it around.
Cincinnati has voted. Listen, it's called Cincinnati in Boston.
He spoke at Cincinnati and everybody went like this.
But he didn't make the same mistake twice. Kennedy returned just ahead of the midterm elections, stumping for candidates he hoped would pass his legislative agenda.
I am glad to be back in Cincinnati. I come to this state because I believe after 20 months as President of the United States, I believe it's vitally important that the people of Ohio and Kentucky and the people of the United States make a choice for progress in 1962.
What no one here knew was that 9 days later, the president would be embroiled in the nearly catastrophic Cuban Missile Crisis. Nor could anyone have ever guessed that 382 days later, John F. Kennedy would be dead at the hands of an assassin, the event that devastated most Americans.
And they can't tell you what they did for a while because they were out of it. It was a shock for everyone.
And right now on Facebook, we are hearing from tri-staters who remember first Senator, then President Kennedy's visits to the tri-state. Among them, Debbie, who remembers shaking hands with the senator when he landed at Lunkin on the 1960 campaign stop. We're also getting comments on Twitter and WCPO.com, and we invite you to join in. Carol?